Now metals and non-metals. Now if you look at this is what your periodic table will look like. We have non-metals and metals. Now metals are the ones in yellow and non-metals are in blue. A diagonal line is marked from the top of the third group, so up there, of the periodic table to the lower corner, so until here. And this line would separate the metals and the non-metals. So to the left are the metals and to the right are the non-metals. Now hydrogen is an exception to this generalization, and it's usually somewhere in between. Now elements that are adjacent in the line, so there's a diagonal line going across, and any element that's adjacent to that diagonal line are what we call semi-metals. They're called semi-metals because they have properties of metals and non-metals, so they're somewhat called semi-metals. The older term used was metalloids, but now we refer to them as semi-metals. So these are silicon, germanium, arsenic, and referred to as semi-metals, as you can see. So the one in green. The transition metals, that's a big block that's in the middle of the periodic table, like that. Found in the middle block of the periodic table, and there are 10 columns. 4th, 5th, and 6th rows of the periodic table, so these rows here. Now always be careful to take this as a row. People do forget it, especially because in your periodic table, hydrogen doesn't exist here. It exists in the middle up here. So people forget to take this as a row. But when you're counting down, you should always count this as a row because we have helium here, as well as hydrogen sometimes. Known as transitional metals, as they showcase transitional properties of metals on either sides. So they have transitional properties of metals here and over there. The elements in the 4th row of the transition metals have a 3rd electron shell with 18 electrons. That's quite a lot because we've been learning that the most amount of electrons in a shell is 8. But the case varies with transitional metals. The 3rd electron shell has 18 electrons in it. Similarly, the 5th and the 6th rows of the transitional elements corresponding to an increasing number of electrons in the 4th and 5th shell from 8 to 18. So you can see that there is like an increasing pattern of electrons going from 18 to 8 to 18, and that's how the transitional metals and the electron shell behave.